All right, Orange Guy here. The question is, how does this war end? How does it end? I've had the same question a few times. That same question. Look, I've done the classic. We blew the retards up, okay, until they fucking surrender. I blew the. Look, they've been blown up pretty good until they surrender. They didn't surrender. They didn't surrender. I tried a couple. This has been repeat for like 2 months now. Okay, so look, that method didn't work. That method didn't work because somehow there's always a few more, and then it repeats. So look, that method doesn't work. It's a classic, but it doesn't work here. It doesn't work in this scenario. All right, so this is how we get it to end. How do we get it to end? Okay, and this is what we're going to be working on over the next week, right? Because I think we're getting pretty close. We're actually, each time we're getting closer. Here's how we get to end, and here's what I want you to work on. Okay, so one of which is the suppression devices. They all need to be destroyed. That's basically obvious. That's obvious, right? So we need no more made, right? And we need no more in storage. They all have to be destroyed. This has been ongoing. Okay, new ones seem to come out from wherever they come from. So that's part of it. That's part of it, right? Is getting suppression devices off and destroyed. Okay, that's part of it. Okay, but basically the way the war actually ends is every opponent needs to be eliminated. Every single one. Now, you can get there a couple ways. Okay, there's the obvious death bit. Okay, there's the obvious death bit, and then there's recruiting. Okay, so there's two ways of eliminating your opponent. Here's the thing. Many still don't know what it is they're fighting about. They still don't know what they're fighting about. This has become more clear with the past, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks for me. And I'm going to give you an example. Today, look, I was out in the backyard, okay, and devices are getting turned on. I'm like, look, there's somebody still watching me on satellite imagery turning shit on. So look, I wrote messages in the gravel today about the website and the YouTube thing. Okay, I wrote, and sure enough, the device starts shutting off because they don't have audio, they don't have the phone access. Okay, they didn't know about the website, but they had satellite imagery, and some retard is pointing on them, enemy, enemy, enemy. They don't even know what the fuck they're fighting about. They don't. This is quite a few. They don't know what they're fighting about. So look, I wrote the messages in the gravel and one shut off. You're like, what are you doing? So, retards hit me in the head, of course. So, look, this is the way to get it to end. Okay, partly is going to be the diehards are going to have to go. That's obvious. Okay, and the other part of it is information campaign to your opponents. Okay, so work on information campaign to your opponent. What does the information campaign do? What is it about? Like, one, it's about what suppression devices do and how they affect people, right? That's very useful. Like, look, it negatively affects people. It hits all kinds of people in the head and body. It's not healthy for the population. An information campaign about that, because they don't even know what they're turning on a good portion of the time. They have no idea. Okay, the other part is you can to recruit. Okay, is how to end corruption series. Okay, that gives a sense of purpose when you recruit with. Talk about the benefits of how to end corruption. Okay, the benefits of it to the nations. Okay, now you have soldiers that can potentially come over because they look that sounds like a good sense of purpose. So they say, look, I like that plan. Okay, and you also have a uniting factor, which is me. Okay, so you have sense of purpose. Okay, and you have uniting factors. Okay, one is devices often destroyed. Okay, and the other one is me, like a traditionally a strong leader. Okay, and consistent leader can get the job done. That's traditional. We don't see me traditional times, but I think it's still gonna work. I think it'll still work. So look, how do you recruit? Okay, look, this how to recruit is do the information campaign, talk about how to corruption is beneficial to the nation, right? Talk about an orange guy. Look, he's nice and consistent. Okay, we like that. And offer like, look, if you come over to this side, there's no penalty for what you previously done. Okay, there's no penalty for that. Okay, but you're gonna have to have some values training, and we'll recruit you. Okay, we're gonna have some values training, and then and probably some maneuvers training, right? You need to be retrained. Okay, so that way they don't lose their, because some of them are fighting because they, like oppositional fighting because they lose their income, right, or they lose their sense of purpose. So we're telling them, look, your sense of purpose is broken. Here's a better sense of purpose, and you don't lose the income that you need, because that's for some of the fighters. Okay. So look, who do you recruit? Who do you recruit? I'd say you recruit all of your opposition, all of them. Okay, so like the U.S. is civil war. Okay, some of the other nations, they're civil war opponents. Some ones like Mexico have cartels. South America have some cartels. Some ones like Africa have opposing factions. Okay, the opposing factions, the retards hit me head, of course. Some of the opposing factions. Okay, those are the ones. Those are the ones recruited. Basically, if you're green or gray, okay, of the regular military, okay, you're recruiting all of the opposition to retrain, okay, to retrain, and obviously we're part of How to End Corruption is squaring up green themselves, and we've been working on that as well. So this way you're eliminating the opposition, okay, by recruiting, and you're also going to be eliminating opposition by by eradicating, basically killing them off. Okay, so this is the two ways to finish this thing of like how does it end? Because I've asked that question many times, and it's not a clear answer, but this is the best answer I'd give, and I feel like it's a pretty reasonable approach. So first, look, you have to fend off the diehards, of course, but also look, put the effort forward on recruiting of all opposition, and now you have less opponents. So that makes sense.